My message is today that consumers ultimately hold the power, in my view. Consumers can hold corporations to account. They can ask them to behave in a responsible and ethical fashion. I think that's very important. Companies, of course, it's in their interests to attract consumers with good, safe and reliable products. The world is becoming a closer place. There are no such things as the traditional borders or boundaries anymore. It's seamless now. And so the point I was making in my remarks today was that consumers more and more don't have the face-to-face interaction that they used to. And so I think that provides wonderful opportunities, but also, of course, creates risks. And it's how we manage those risks going forward. We have a combination of very strong consumer policy frameworks across the nation. We also, of course, are an advanced nation. We're technologically savvy. We're early adopters traditionally. We can trace that back over many years. And so I think we're experiencing those trends firsthand. Sometimes we're at the beginning of it. And so we've got that experience. And I think that if we can share that experience, if we can learn from that experience, communicate it to others, then I think it's helpful for the entire world.
Well, I think that Congress has really hit the mark in some of the key issues, and certainly from my agency's point of view, we'd identified a couple of very key issues ourselves a few years ago as being really critical. Sustainable consumption was one, and I'm really pleased that the consumer movement now seems to have really embraced this, whereas I think it was a bit ambivalent a few years ago as to where it should go on this issue. We've become engaged more recently in relation to the food marketing issue. I think this is a big issue clearly for consumers, and I think as regulators, again, we need to look very closely at this issue, and this is something that we are in fact doing in Consumer Affairs Victoria. I think the biggest project by far, and the one that we've put a lot of effort into, is in fact the National Review of Consumer Policy. We've never had a review like this in this country, and I think the reality is that consumer affairs has been on a slide downwards for many years, and some people may criticise me for saying that, but certainly within government I think we have to do something pretty dramatic to get consumer affairs on the agenda.